A husband explains how his wife fell in love with him. Are we ready to go?
Ready.
Let's do it.
All right.
Sean's not ready.
No,
I mean, I'm not
I have
ready,
to
Sean.
zoom in. I have to zoom into the thing and find it.
Oh, God
Okay.
damn, you need glasses.
And there's fucking 6 tabs.
Holy.
Yeah, because they're screenshots and they're like vertical shots. So, you have to zoom in to read. Don't you guys for judging me. Anyways.
I didn't say shit. The fuck?
I'm like, what do you say f me for?
Yeah.
You're right.
You, John.
Sorry. The end of the month is getting to me. The end of the month is getting to me. You, Josh. Me and John standing strong.
Yeah. You're fine. Take your time, buddy.
Melanin 5.
Spell out the words.
All right, here we go. Hello, all. I'm not sure where to even start. I am not a regular Redditor, but I do sometimes browse the site when I'm bored. I looked online to see if I could find any information regarding my issue. Well, at least not anything that was helpful for me. Never thought I'd be making this kind of post, but here I am. Apologies if this gets long, and it does. But I haven't really been able to gather my thoughts. Background. So I, 32-year-old female, met my now husband, 37-year-old male, who I'll call Dave, but obviously not his real name, about 5 years ago. We have been married for 2.5 years now. We have an adorable 20-month-old daughter.
20-month-year-old. Came out the womb fucking taking shots.
God damn.
Just bang, steroid to the leg. Let's go. I'm ready to walk, baby.
Milk.
Shot of tequila.
Feed me.
That's what happens when you feed a baby muscle milk exclusively.
This is how Benjamin Button came out.
Yeah, exactly. We have an adorable 20-month-old daughter, and I am currently 4 months pregnant with our next child. We just bought a house a couple years ago in the suburbs outside of a larger metro area. Dave was an acquaintance of a coworker, Mark. So about 5 years ago, I started to see him frequently at the bar that we'd go get drinks at after work. I'll admit that at first I wasn't particularly attracted to him. Not that he's ugly or anything. He just wasn't the type that I was into at that point in my life. Anyways, when Dave started coming around, he would always try to chit-chat with me. It was obvious that he was interested, but I tried to decline his advances as gently as I could. He was persistent, and one night, after maybe one too many drinks, I agreed to go on a date with him. I remember the date started out a bit awkward, as our previous encounters had always been with a group, so this was our first time that it was just the two of us. Plus, I admit, again, I didn't really want to be there. I'd actually considered canceling, but I was having really bad luck in the dating department at that point. Parentheses, more on that later. So I decided that since I had no other plans, why not? Anyways, the date started out slow, and it was mostly Dave talking about himself for the first half. But then, after a while, he started bringing up some topics that I was interested in, such as a hobby and a particular cause that I felt very strongly about. The second half of the date was so much better, and I was kind of surprised to learn that Dave and I actually had some things in common. I was still hesitant, but decided to give Dave a chance, and although he definitely liked me more than I liked him in the beginning, our relationship slowly began to grow, and I eventually fell in love with him. Since then, I would say that we have a very good relationship. He is my best friend, an excellent father, and a great husband. Furthermore, he is a good provider as well. Once our daughter was born, he decided that it made the most financial sense for me to quit my job and stay at home. It was a role that I admittedly was not 100% on board with in the beginning, but when we looked at the numbers, it was just the most logical decision. Despite my initial hesitancy, I have since grown to love it. I honestly could not imagine having to spend so much time away from our daughter, but I recognize that because of my husband, we are in a very fortunate position to do so. I know that many families cannot live just off of one income. I don't want to give away too much personal information, so I'll only say that my husband works in IT. We are not rich by any stretch of the imagination, but we are able to live a modest middle-class lifestyle on just my husband's income. Except for the rare couples fight, things between my husband and I generally have been good. We get along well, and up until last night, I would say that my life is ideal.
Okay.
So
I
far,
mean,
so good.
Yeah, not too many
Red
red
flags.
flags. Yeah, just
Not
the
yet.
classics. Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, just the classic dating, woes and marriage woes. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's like that true crime meme that always shows up. Everything was fine until
And then black and
it
white.
wasn't.
The issue. This is the until it wasn't. Here we go.
Oh no.
Like many people, my husband has been working at home since the whole coronavirus mess started. So this must be older.
At least 2 years,
At least a couple
maybe.
years, yeah. That makes
potentially
sense.
3.
Because no one calls it the whole coronavirus mess anymore.
It's been that long.
3 years, buddy.
Damn. Holy.
Yeah.
Crazy. It took a little bit of adjustment, but it hasn't been too bad. My husband still works in IT, so his work hasn't been disrupted too much since he can work from home remotely. I think the change in environment has been the biggest issue, though. To stay connected, my husband has been meeting virtually once or twice a week with friends or coworkers, and last night he was playing games with his little brother, who we'll call Tom, a 30-year-old male, and a couple of his other friends. While playing these games, my husband had a few beers. He rarely drinks, but since the lockdown, he has been having 2 to 3 beers usually on a Friday when meeting virtually with friends or coworkers. This is not
crazy.
a problem, in my opinion, and I only mention it because he does not have that much tolerance for alcohol. This is relevant.
Lightweight.
Yeah, this is relevant because last night he had more than his usual 2 to 3 beers.
Ooh.
Took that fourth.
Took that fourth, and then the truth came out, buddy.
What is it? What do they say? Like the drunk mind is a sober soul or something like that?
I don't
Something
know if I
like that.
truly believe that. I think it's
There's
just
sayings. There's multiple sayings, like, what you say when you're drunk is what you mean.
Yeah, I really
Something,
feel.
which isn't always true. Sometimes you just be saying
yeah. You
shit.
just say lettuce is not good for you.
Yeah, we were going through an E. coli crisis. My friends could have died.
The man had a valid
Anyways.
point, not gonna lie.
Hey, yeah. All right.
I'm
So
on your
page.
side, Sean.
was that a Patreon? Only patrons know what that was about, I think, right? Or did everybody know?
Was
no,
that the
was
food
that
one?
was regular.
No, that was for
episode.
everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody knows. All right. So after I put my daughter to bed, I checked my cell phone to see that I had a message from Tom's girlfriend. They've been dating for about 1.5 years now, and since they only live about an hour away, we frequently have double dates. I like Tom, and I like his girlfriend. So I was super excited when I opened her message to see that they were now officially engaged.
Hey.
It was a big
shit.
group chat, so it was filled with messages of congratulations. I noticed that in one message, Tom had written, "Big thanks to Dave," without, peek behind the screen, Wikimaniacs. I just ate a cookie and I think a pecan came back up. That was wrong. Anyways,
Ew. You're choking on those nuts.
yeah, always, nonstop. Tom had written, "Big thanks to Dave, without whose advice I would have never gotten this far. Personally, I thought it was very sweet and seemed like they were looking to us as an example. I immediately ran downstairs to my husband to talk to him about it. I knew he was playing games with Tom, so he obviously must have known earlier about the engagement. I sat on the couch and we started talking about how long Tom had been planning this out, how much the ring cost, when was the wedding, etc. It was at that point I noticed that Dave was a bit drunk, which I guess was the result of him, quote, celebrating his little brother's next step in life. While cuddling, I mentioned to him about what a good example that he was to his little brother, and that this is where it all began. The whole night was such a whirlwind that I don't even remember every little thing, but basically, Dave told me how he, quote, helped Tom make his girlfriend fall in love with him. I asked him what he meant.
Okay.
I asked him what he meant, and he went into this whole story that I had never heard before. He talked in detail about how he got me to fall in love with him, the true story about how we met, how we fell in love, and how our relationship blossomed.
Oh no.
Dave was clearly drunk, and I was just so shocked that I could do nothing but stupidly smile and act like everything was no big deal. And I think this just made him open up more and more. The real story, according to my husband, is that he first found me on a dating site about half a year before we ever met. He claims that he claims that he initially sent me a message, but that I just ignored him. He looked kind of hurt when talking about this, but I told him that women get hundreds of messages a week on those sites, and there was just no way that I could have read through all of them, much less respond. He claims that I did read his, but gave him no response.
I mean, it's still the same thing, right?
Motherfucker remembers.
Got the receipts.
It's like I have an elephant mind.
I don't know. Tinder or whatever dating app they're on is like, it's like a different world. Like you do get like a lot of messages and you're like, I don't know if we'd click. So you just don't message back sometimes or whatever. And you know, I don't blame her. If she wasn't that interested in him, then you don't have to message people. Like you're not obligated to.
Yeah.
Did you get a lot of messages, Josh?
Hundreds, I'm sure.
I bet you thousands.
I don't know. I had it for a long time. It was.
That's hundreds, guys. That's humble speak for hundreds.
I don't know if that's an accomplishment. I think that's just.
A gentleman don't kiss and tell. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, hell yeah.
Oh. Okay, so he said that we ranked very highly in compatibility and we had a lot of the same interests, and that he, quote, just knew that we would make the perfect couple.
It's teetering on like, you know, those rom-coms where you're like, is this a stalker or is this romantic?
Yeah. It's like love songs where it's like there's such a fine line between like
creepy.
one of my favorite tweets was like from some lead singer of some band. He was like, this was back when Justin Bieber first was popping up. He was one less lonely girl, if you change like the speed of that song, can sound very serial killery.
Oh shit!
Like very, like if you change the tone of the song, it could be a completely different song.
To be fair, he was underage, I think. So I don't know if he really.
Oh, true.
About
it's just any love song can be very, you know, change the tone and it could not work out. Yeah,
that's fair.
Back to OP's husband's story. So apparently, after being ghosted, he started to create, here we go, a bunch of fake profiles.
There it is.
No.
That's crossing the line.
He stole pictures of very attractive men from various social media profiles. He said he would make minor changes so as not to be reverse search. I never even considered that being a thing.
That's fucking insane.
He started to use these profiles to basically more or less catfish me. Over the course of a couple months, he was able to initiate conversations with me on numerous occasions with different profiles, and eventually, at some point, I guess I mentioned where I worked.
No.
He then said that he spent several hours searching through Facebook and LinkedIn before he found my picture.
This is stalking.
This is bad. At that point, he had my name and started hardcore stalking me online.
Oh my God.
He had created numerous social media profiles, some of which I accepted as friends/followers. So then he even had more ways to stalk my life.
That's fucked up.
After a couple of months, he started stalking me in real life. He said that he started going to hang out at the bar we always went to after work, and that he befriended Mark, a coworker of mine. Mark worked in IT like Dave, and although nice, he was socially awkward and a bit of a loner. I was always surprised when he would join us for happy hour because he usually would just sip on his beer and not say anything. Anyway, I guess Dave started talking to Mark and became his friend somehow. So then we'd meet for happy hour. Dave would invariably start to hang out with my group of coworkers and I.
Oh no.
It seemed to work out well because Dave was pleasant and Mark seemed to open up a bit more when he was around. So this went on for about a month, and then Dave started trying to hit on me.
Okay, let's recap quickly here. He has stalked her with multiple profiles to find out who she is as a person, where she works, gone to a place where she knows that her coworkers and her hang out, and befriended one of her coworkers just to go on a date with her.
Yep. It's way past the line of this could be romantic.
Oh, it was past the line when she started creating profiles.
As soon as we started this next page, it crossed the line.
Insane behavior.
Again, Dave was not a bad looking guy, but he just wasn't my type. After a month or two, I eventually agreed. As mentioned before, I was drunk and having terrible luck in the dating game. My quote, bad luck was actually Dave's fake profiles.
Oh.
I kept chatting with guys who I thought I would have gotten along with. In some cases, we chatted for weeks. And then when it was time to finally meet, I kept getting blown off. It was a huge hit to my self-esteem. One night, after waiting for over an hour for my date to show up, I finally went back to my car and just cried. I just could not understand it, and honestly started having doubts about myself. One particularly cruel episode was after another date with one of Dave's fake profiles. I received a text message which said something like, I didn't look as good as my pictures, and accused me of catfishing him.
Are you fucking kidding me? Could you imagine having to take someone down this many notches just to get a fucking date with? You must be a fucking pathetic piece of shit. Like,
100%.
Oh my God. Fuck this person.
And
this
it
is
keeps
like
continuing.
manipulation and 10,000 times. Oh my God.
Yeah.
This is bad.
I think this was our highest rated, highest upvoted, just because it's so shocking how evil and manipulative this guy is.
Yeah, I looked at it. It almost has 400,000 total views.
Holy.
Yeah. This, the next week during one happy hour, it was when I finally agreed to go on that date with Dave. I guess he essentially tore me down so that I would feel like shit and agree to go out with him.
Jesus.
When I asked him about all the different phone numbers, he claimed that he had bought a few burner phones. Like, what the actual fuck?
What? Like, I know he's drunk, but admitting all this, you have to know you're insane, right?
Right? Saying it out loud. You got to be like, not only saying it out loud to your wife, but also like he gave the same advice to his little brother and steered his little brother down what
That
seems
path,
like
yes.
a
The same
fucking
path.
terrible path.
Holy.
Is this Joe Goldberg?
Yeah. The top comment on our subreddit was like, how very you of this.
Oh my God.
But wait, it somehow gets worse.
How?
Something I had never told Dave about was that when we first started dating, I was actually talking with somebody else.
Oh.
I was not completely into Dave like he was into me at the beginning. So when this gorgeous guy started messaging me on the dating site I was using, I started to chat with him. After constantly being blown off on dates, I was very cautious when I was talking to Alex, who I guess is the attractive man that she's messaging. So even though things seemed to be going well, I still kept talking to Dave at the same time. I just wanted to be sure that Alex wasn't another asshole before I made any decisions with Dave.
I like how he's torn her down this much and she's still like, nah, you're still my backup plan. That's so fucking funny.
She had a gut feeling that this was a fucking menace.
Oh,
So Alex and I went on our first date, and it was absolutely great until the very end. The date was off to such a good start because one, he actually showed up, lol. And two, he was even more handsome in real life. I
Like
could
Josh.
not believe that someone like him was interested
know.
in someone like me. Oh, what happened?
He said he's even more handsomer in person now. It's like Josh.
And then I said,
yeah.
you don't know that.
This could be a filter this whole time.
It is.
I couldn't believe that someone like him was so interested in someone like me. As I said, my self-esteem was absolutely in the gutter by now. So the date goes great. We get along. We're laughing, staring into each other's eyes. I haven't felt this kind of connection ever. I remember that my heart fluttered and I even got butterflies in my stomach. I honestly thought that it was love at first sight. Up until the end, it was a really magical night, like something out of a movie. We had a couple glasses of wine, but neither of us were drunk, but we were feeling good. After we got out of the bar, we started making out a bit in the parking lot behind the bar. I just felt so good in that moment, and I really thought that I had finally found a guy who I connected with, and it had been a while since I had been with anyone, so I lost myself a bit in the passion and suggested that Alex come home with me. I still remember the way that his face dropped. His beautiful blue eyes just became cold as ice, and his body began tensing up. He stepped back and said, quote, "Sorry, I'm not into sluts," end quote,
Oh.
and walked off. It was one of the
Jesus.
most devastating moments of my life. I never would have guessed that something like that would happen. Not after the night we just shared, and I honestly was in shock. I thought it was maybe just a stupid joke, but he seriously just turned and walked away. After what felt like forever, I realized that he wasn't coming back, and I swear I had a full-on breakdown. I remember that my stomach just felt like someone had punched me and began to painfully twist it. I couldn't breathe and began to full-on sob. I don't remember if anyone saw me or not, but no one came up to me or said anything. I cried all the tears that I could, and after there was nothing left, I managed to catch my breath after a while and finally walked home. I had some very dark thoughts that night, and I couldn't stop beating myself up, ruining what I thought was a once-in-a-lifetime chance. Honestly, even during my marriage, I still frequently thought about Alex. For me, he was the one that got away, and
I'm
I
sorry,
blamed
I'm-
myself for years.
I'm not laughing because that is a horrible thing that happened to you, and Alex is a piece of shit for doing that. It is just
Yeah.
funny that you're in your marriage and you're just like, damn, that's the one that got away.
The guy that manipulated the fuck out of you and had to do all of the most heinous evil things to get a single date with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still has somebody else in her thoughts.
Sorry. It's not funny. It is not a funny story. That was just
It's just absurd.
It's
This
funny.
whole
Wouldn't it be a-
story is
would it-
absurd.
Wouldn't it be a plot twist if fucking the husband hired that Alex guy?
That's where I'm thinking it's going, and that's even darker.
Is that okay? Let's Sean
Let
finish.
Sean
this.
finish. It's a long story.
I got 1.5 pages left.
Oh God, it gets so much worse.
Shit.
I guess I should mention that Saturday night when I went out with Alex, I had actually canceled plans with Dave.
Suck it,
When he,
Dave.
when he texted me the next day to go mini golfing, I was all but too happy to go. Looking back, I seriously attached myself to Dave after that incident, and our so-called fairy tale love grew from then on. Now, why is the whole Alex thing worth mentioning? Last night, when Dave was proudly telling me that he had done all of this in order to be with me, he mentioned that he even once paid a guy to date me.
There it is.
No.
There it is. That was Alex.
When
Holy
I inquired
shit.
further, he told me about how Alex was actually paid by Dave to go out on a date with me.
Fucking
Bro.
knew it.
The idea was to do a couple of dates and then for Alex to ditch me, I guess to wreck my self-esteem maybe? I don't know.
Oh my god.
But I was in such absolute shock. I had never mentioned Alex to Dave, and we had only exchanged messages for a couple of weeks, and there was only one date. I didn't want Dave to know that I had been talking to other guys in the beginning, so of course I wasn't going to mention it. So that just made everything way too real.
Oh,
It's
is
a
that
lot.
the end?
Nope. Dave seemed to have found it funny, as he was still telling me how he reached out and found some broke, aspiring male model who lived in a city a couple hours away. He offered to pay this guy to set up a profile, chat with me, and then go on a few dates. I don't know if Alex was just desperate for cash or an asshole, but either way, he agreed to the proposition. Per Dave, the idea was that Alex would, after a few dates, basically start to act like an asshole and eventually ghost me. Per Dave, this was so that I could, quote, learn to appreciate what I have rather than chasing a fantasy, end quote. However, Alex saw an opportunity right away when I threw myself at him, and he took it. I asked why he would do something like that, and Dave's response was that I was, quote, a dumb girl who was chasing guys outside of her league, and that I needed a reality check to see that the best guy for her was right in front of her.
Says the guy that had to do the most to get this girl to go on a date with him. Fucking check yourself, dude. The most surprising thing about this whole story is that you had typed it all out and that you aren't in jail for fucking murdering him, because that's the first thing I would do. Just instantly. Holy fuck. Fuck this guy.
This guy is probably definitely like in the top tier of just straight evil demon people that we've had.
It's on the level, it's farther than this, but it's on the same psychopathic level as the alarm clock husband.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who adjusted like this is manipulation on their life and their psyche. Like you are fucking them up for life, trauma that they're going to have a hard time recovering from, just so that you can fucking get a date with a girl. Like, dude, find someone who's interested in you.
All the energy that you've had doing this shit, just fucking put it on bettering yourself. I am drained just listening to this shit.
It's a lot, and I apologize.
There's a lot I wanted to say, but I don't want.
I'm angry.
Almost done. Almost done. Up until now, I think I had been smiling and generally in disbelief about the whole thing, which I think only encouraged him to keep going and going. But the story about Alex horrified me. I literally had a panic attack after that night with Alex. And looking back at it now, I don't think my self-esteem / confidence ever recovered from that incident. I asked David how much he had paid Alex, and he told me $1,000. Now,
That's crazy.
after Dave admitted about Alex, I immediately went upstairs and went to bed. I guess Dave had a couple more beers and passed out on the couch. I saw him this morning, and he is painfully hungover. I have only one other time in my life seen him as drunk as he was last night, and it was many years ago. I want to ask him again if it was all true about what he said last night, but I know it has to be. He knew way too many details. Or he's too hungover anyway to have a coherent talk right now. Plus, he could just say that he doesn't remember anything. I don't know what to do, or even if there is anything to do. I am horrified and absolutely shocked about what I have learned. I suppose that I had overly romanticized our relationship and marriage, but now it just doesn't seem real at all. But I have to admit that I am very perversely kind of flattered. My husband is not a lazy man, but he struggles to make and keep plans. The story that he told last night seems almost unbelievable. And like I said, if it wasn't for the details, I would say there was no way that he was capable of such a thing, that a man would spend so much time and effort just to be with me, although creepy, also seems a bit romantic, maybe?
No.
Wait a goddamn minute. Hold on. Wait. You had me in the front.
No.
I was with you for a minute. It seemed like you liked this shit.
2 more paragraphs. I don't want to bring any of this up to my friends or family, so the internet seems to be my best option. I guess I'm looking for some outside perspective on this. Maybe see if this is normal at all? I mean, have any guys out there manipulated certain situations or events, albeit to an extreme degree, just to be with a girl? Ladies, do you know if your man has ever done something like this? Up until last night, I had a great loving husband, a beautiful family, and a life that most would kill for. Technically, nothing has changed except what I now know. Since everything was so good, do I even ever bring it up again? Perhaps I should just accept that my husband wanted me this badly that he went to absolutely insane measures to make sure it happened, and just be happy with this great life that I have now? I just don't know. Maybe I should see a therapist. Ding, ding, ding. Yes.
Yes.
Get therapy.
I just feel so lost right now. I have no idea what to do or if there's anything to do. Too long didn't read. Found out that my husband stalked and manipulated me in the beginning of our relationship, including catfishing me and even paying someone to go on a date with me and be a jerk just so that I would fall in love with him.
I just don't understand how she reads that back and doesn't at minimum get like an ick. At maximum, realize that he's a psychopath and he should be in jail. He literally he tormented you, brought your self-esteem down with different people that you saw yourself like falling for and wanting to go on dates with, and then just constantly bringing your your ego down and like your self-esteem down until you were at the most vulnerable. And then you were like, all right, let's try this out because I have no other options. Like, that's not a good reason to stay with someone. You should realize that, oh, I there are other options out there. I just was looking at false options, and it's nothing to do with me. My husband manipulated me into believing that I had no other options.
And it was months and months of
and
doing
paying
this.
someone $1,000 to
That is insane.
like just shit on your self-esteem. I truly don't know what else to tell you other than this is not normal, and this should never be normal. This is like back in the day when your grandfather, and I think we brought this up on the show before, but your grandfather would be like, "Oh, I badgered your grandmother for years until she finally went." Like Glenn on Superstore when they're trying to figure out what sexual assault
Great
in the
show.
workplace is, and he's just like, "Yeah, I'm my father, who was Jerusha's boss, for made her go out with me," and he's like, "Yeah, that's assault."
No.
And then he's on the phone with her later. "No, you don't understand. Our marriage is a lie."
Yeah. I need to rewatch Superstore. But
That's a
yeah,
great
this
show.
guy is gotta be like top 3 worst people we've ever read. Like, right?
Insane.
Like this is pretty fucking insane. It's so insane that I think like there's like gotta be a chance that this is just like fake, right? Like I would hope so. You know what I mean?
I do always hope that for the most heinous stories, because I'm like,
There's no way, right?
But at the same time, it's like there is that chance that it is
Yeah.
true, and it's just like
It could be one of those situations. Like, to me, the top 3 that we've ever covered, and this might be jumping ahead of, they might ask us this on our live stream down in the future, but the Dyson story,
the Dyson story.
Damn.
the other long Dyson story that Sean covered when he was like gonna find out that wife was cheating and ended up like doing all these heinous shit to the wife. The Dyson story, the alarm clock guy, and then this. This is
I don't know if the
bad.
Dyson one is that.
Wait, is the
Dyson
Dyson
one
one
was-
where he sexually abused his wife?
Yes.
Oh,
that one was
terrible.
bad.
I
That was
missed-
terrible.
I
These-
did not want to read that, but again, that was like the highest.
That was the
upvoted
top.
thing.
That was the highest thing too. So these
My
are like
fault.
the top 3 fucking
yeah, Jesus.
crazy shit.
I'm gonna be
telling you guys,
honest,
I
I'm
remember
not
all the
gonna be able
stories that we've covered.
I was
Yeah,
gonna
somebody-
say I forget most of them, so I don't know.
Yeah. Like me and Josh said earlier, like we forget as soon
I
as
remember it all.
we're done. And then John
Yeah.
remembers everything.
have to go
Encyclopedia
through-
Jones over here.
I'll have to go through our TikTok and just see the top ones, because they're usually the most insane ones.
Yeah.
It's bad.
That is
I got
terrible.
no words. I mean, of course, like the first advice that I would give to OP is definitely seek help, seek therapy, because from what the boys were saying, and this is not, I don't know if that's a Stockholm syndrome is something that you can diagnose or some shit like that.
Oh, for
but
sure. We're not.
yeah,
we're not
I also,
people
yeah,
that can
don't know.
diagnose anything.
That's our
Yeah, I
true-
don't know if that's like a thing, you know,
A real
and
thing.
that's us always us saying that, like this.
Wait, that's a real
No,
thing
like-
though.
It is a
Well,
real
it's
thing, but I'm saying like a diagnosable stuff.
I
I don't
also
know how
think
to
it's
say
like
it.
like I don't actually know if the actual what people use it for usually is actually what it is.
Oh, like the meaning might be different from the actual
Yeah,
thing.
but
Yeah.
definitely seek like professional help, because right now, like you're kind of living in a fantasy world because you're trying to
the Truman
act
Show.
like
live it-
nothing ever happened.
yeah. And to me, hearing it kind of in the very end is as it slowly shifted to like, hey, maybe this is a good thing because like he loves me so much that he would go to the distance. That's trauma response, because
Yeah.
every situation leading up to how you felt when you last wrote that sentence was he created every single scenario of that shit.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't really know what good is because it's been fabricated for the whole relationship you guys had. So definitely seek some sort of help, and hopefully that professional help can give you some clarity. It's easy for us to say, leave this fucker, he's insane, but you know, maybe you enjoy your life, but
Yeah.
seek some help.
For sure. Therapy may.
Yes.
I would say
recommend-
divorce right away, but I mean, I don't know. There's kids
For
involved.
me-
It always gets tough. I
Yeah.
would divorce right away for sure.
Yeah.
But you know, if they're, you know, worst case scenario, at the very least, couples therapy.
I was
But
gonna
for
say-
me, I would say just fucking run. This is batshit insane. This guy is like we said,
know what?
top 3 worst people we've ever had.
And you don't know what he's going to do.
Yeah,
This is
you don't
some
know
true
what he's
crime
capable of. He
this
lied
is-
all these years.
Yeah.
This is like some crazy true crime shit. Because what if it comes to a scenario where he becomes obsessed with someone else, and this is like crime of passion waiting to happen, and
Or like he
it's
remembers
scary.
that he told you the night before and then gets like obsessive about it because he's like, oh, she's gonna leave me now, and then like becomes weird. You know, there's so many ways this could go. So I say at minimum leave the house to get to a family member and stay there for a while.
But that's the scary part, though.
It's tough though with kids though.
That
Like, is
and
that
you know
kidnapping.
he's capable of going that distance to eventually find you.
Right. I'm just saying, give yourself the best chance.
Yeah, of
Right.
safety for
Tell
sure.
people, and then get out of that situation. I'm saying, give yourself a safety barrier and tell family and friends about it, and give yourself a safety buffer.
Yeah, this is insane.
God, this is nuts.
Yeah. Expert in fucking, I don't know.
Great power.
For the fifth time, it's your boy Sean.